Okay, so what I did was I painted up the finger blue. I pretty much got a lot of the blue paint and black paint underneath the finger because I would have never been able to get that done if I glued in the finger first and then try to paint it. It's easier to do it, and then attach it and then seam it up. So I'm going to let this glue dry for another like 5 minutes, and I'm going to get some Aves and sort of kind of blend out the seam here, get that done, and then hopefully by tomorrow I could do a little sanding and I could paint up both gloves. Once I paint up the gloves with blue, we have to do the yellow straps. But with this glove here, this one is a solid resin paint up. So what I'm doing is I'm going to paint this to blue, and then I'll do some cool blue flames off the hands like it's kind of coming out of the glove type thing. And then afterwards, once these hands are done and the straps are done, the clear resin's a little bit different because I also have to do the clear eye. So that's going to be a little bit of a different paint up because we want to keep it as translucent as possible with kind of like really glowing. So I have to come up with something on that. But for right now, we're going to focus on these gloves, get the rest of them done, and then we'll do the clear parts at the end, and he should be finished up. Okay, so I'm going to start painting up this hand with the flame. Now, Cable's powers, when he was in this run, it's kind of like a flamish blue-white power. It's not really yellow like Nate Gray is. His eye is yellow, but when he does his telekinesis, it's actually blue, like a whitish. Okay, so as you can see with this hand over here, this is solid resin, so I was able to use pearls and iridescence, interference blues and stuff on it, make it look shiny, kind of give it like that comic book look a little bit as much as I can without trying to go overboard. So I'll just have to let this dry up and then I can do the straps. For the clear hand, it's a little bit trickier because the hand's got some blues in there, but it's also got white. So I want to try to keep it as white as translucent as I can with a little blues in there. Only because if I put a lot of blues in there and then we have this translucent color and then we do yellow straps, any light hitting it, reflecting it from back and forth, it'll start turning green down there. So I want to try to stay away from that as much as I can, but there's no way around it. It's just the way the item is, and that's how it's sculpted. If I was to do like translucent yellow, like this is still powering up too a little bit, the problem is translucent blues and yellows hitting you, you'll definitely get a green. So it's going to be a hard yellow with kind of like that bluish hand. There might be a little bit of reflection into a green, but there's not much I could do about that. That's just, natural lighting and a 3D sculpt, whereas comic book art, you get away with it because it's 2D. So this is just something we have to kind of deal with. So I'm going to go in the garage. I'm going to do my clear primer up on there. We're going to come back. I'll do some very light blues on there. Try to keep the blues maybe up around the hand up here a little bit more. A little bit in the back, but try to keep it as white as possible. And then once it's all dried up, we'll gloss coat it. And then what I'll do is we'll do the yellow straps afterwards on both of them. And we should be pretty much ready to go after that. Okay, so on this head specifically, these hair pieces are really messed up. They're the way Onage like cut these pieces from the original sculpt that my friend sent me, the 3D sculpt, is very weird. So I'm going to get some Abe's Fix-It sculpt off camera, and I'm just going to try to blend out the hair a little bit and just make it look a little bit more uniformed the way the 3D sculpt was originally, because right now it just looks very messy, and just throwing some paint in there is really not going to do much for this piece at all. I got to kind of blend it out. So just make it look a little bit better than just like glued pieces in there that look messy. The other head is fine. The way it glued in, it works out perfectly fine, so I really don't need to seam anything on that. I just want to focus on this one. Okay, so the heads are finished up. If you see any kind of like wetness around the eye areas, it's because the Instaset I used to set the glue kind of like spreads, and I don't want to touch any of those areas. But this hair piece worked out really well. I don't need to seam any of this up. It glued in perfectly fine. And putting this eyepiece on worked out great, so I just got to be careful not to snap them off. So the eyeballs in there are painted yellow, and then what I did is some pearlized yellow on top of that, so those eyes sort of shine a little bit if you get it at the correct light. And then I glued these clear yellow pieces on. So you can see the clear yellow worked out great with the eyebrow. You can kind of see the eyebrow goes in that clear yellow, but it still kind of like pops around it. And also, I guess what helped is kind of the glue. I put enough glue on there where it sort of spread out around the eye, but it didn't actually like bleed out too much, so it worked out pretty good. This head was a little bit harder because these hair pieces, I glued these two top pieces on, and then I had to kind of like seam them up and do some A's work because they didn't, the way you know, Onage kind of cut them, really cut them out, and they just didn't glue in perfectly, so I had to do some seam work in there, hit it with some white paint, so that worked out pretty good. And then I glued the piece on, the same thing like this and everything. So the heads are all done. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going over the statue completely. I'm touching up some areas. The shoulder pieces on him are going to stay loose until this weekend my friend comes to pick them up. We'll see if we need to glue it down then, but for right now, in all intents and purposes, the statue is pretty much done. So I'm just going over it. I'm cleaning up some stuff here and there, but other than that, it's pretty good. So let's go get up in the photo studio. We'll look at him all finished up. We'll go over it all, and then we'll close out the video. Okay, Cable is pretty much finished up. Not completely, only because my friend's coming this weekend and we're just going to go over a few things and see how everything goes. But at least for the video series, he's pretty much finished up. You can pretty much see that the heads are done. I got the necklace on him as well, so that's kind of a really nice touch for the statue. And everything else just went pretty smoothly. It just took a little time. Sorry about the video series being like all over the place, but this is kind of what happens when I don't have everything set in stone and I'm starting to work on a video and things are changing throughout the process. As you can see, we just have the acrylic black base on them for now. The X base is something we're going to have to do down the line. It's just the way things worked out. It's just not complete now. But the thing about this acrylic base, though, it is a dust magnet. No matter how many times I dust it, it just attracts dust real fast. So that's one of the downsides to it. I mean, it looks pretty good. I like the idea that you got a really nice reflection and you can see the character. But being as thin as it is now, and because it's tiered and glued together, it's a little bit tricky that it could crack and break on you. So I'm not. It's something that it's just for display for now. But we'll have an X base later on. So, but other than that, it's a really great sculpt. Everything went along pretty well. You can see the clear hand looks great on him. Like the arm, the heads are great. If my friend does any more heads for the Cable statue down the line, of course I'll have to get the statue back and set it all up. But as far as right now, I just didn't glue these pieces in because I got to go over with my friend this weekend. So we're just going to leave those alone like that for now. But other than that, let me know what you guys think. Do you like the way this came out? I mean, he is like pretty much, I guess, close to 1/3 scale. But I mean, it looks like he just jumped right out of the comic for Ian Churchill, which is really great. Love the idea of the throwback of the gun to the animated TV show. And it's just a really great statue, really cool. We do have an extra left arm. We were thinking about maybe doing like, you know, when Cable's or Techno-Organic Virus goes crazy, he doesn't control it, the arm kind of goes all crazy. So maybe down the line I might do that arm when I get a chance, but just the way things worked out, I just didn't have a chance to do it. The only tricky thing about the head with the necklace is the way this works out. So basically, you got to be very careful with the eye and also the hair pieces. So basically you pop that out like so. And I think the best way to do this is, instead of trying to get it attached on the neck on the statue, put it around the neck on Cable himself, and then when you pop the statue down, the necklace just goes down and it makes life a lot easier. And this is actually my favorite head of the two. Of course, you got to make sure you have the necklace on correct. But I like this one a lot. I like the teeth clenching like that. It really looks like Churchill. The hair style, the glowing eye, it just is amazing. I really love the sculpt on it. Whoever did it, I forget completely who did the heads. I think a couple people might have worked on it, but it's just absolutely amazing. So, I mean, that's Cable. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like the idea of this statue? Are you a fan of Ian Churchill's artwork in the Cable series? This is going to look really awesome, especially when we get the X-Men Nate Gray statue from DXA Designs, because my friend is getting one too. I would love to see Nate Gray standing next to this Cable. It would probably look amazing of them two together. So that's why I'm kind of jealous that my friend has this statue, and then I'll have Nate Gray next to it. But I'm more of a Nate Gray fan anyway, so I can't wait to get that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much Cable. You know, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching the series, and we'll be back with some more videos.